Hey guys, Kira here, and I'm not gonna lie, I almost forgot to make this review because I don't know, I was reading Chainsaw Man and I finished it. I don't remember what was happening, but I just forgot. I was probably making other videos while I finished it. Uh, you already saw the title, you already know how these reviews work, so let's get straight into it. So, you already know how this works. I'm gonna talk about the story first, then the characters, then anything else that I feel needs a mention, and then I'll talk about something I don't really like, and then I'll give it an overall score at the end. So let's get straight into the story part. So the story for Chainsaw Man, it's not a very complicated one, but it's still very unique and very interesting one, I'd like to say. The series really has no generic tropes or very like overdone arcs. Every arc is unique. It has like a new twist on it, something new you don't really see in any other series. And while Chainsaw Man is a very tragic series, with Denji's whole life, basically from start to finish, I definitely think it's not like it's a tragedy that doesn't feel unnecessary. Like a lot of series, they're overly tragic. They never had any happy moments. Chainsaw Man definitely has its comedic moments, its silly moments, its happy moments. It's got everything, and I definitely think when it's sad, it does it greatly, especially with the snowball fight. Those who've read the manga know what I'm talking about. And you can definitely see that as the story gets on, it goes from a bit more of a happy tone, or like chaotic tone, to more sad and tragic. And that might not be for everyone. Some people like more happy and I don't know comedic series. Some people like their more tragic stories. And with how unique the story is, I definitely think it's one of those series that can definitely easily get someone who's in like a more like manga burnout. It can definitely get them out of it and into manga more than ever because of how unique it is. There really isn't any other manga like it, and I think because of that, that's probably why it intrigues a lot of people, or a lot more people find it interesting to read, because it's just so different and unique. You really can't compare any mangas to it, because there's like a lot of mystery behind what's going on with the whole Chainsaw Devil, where he comes from, why other devils are scared of him. There's also a lot of mystery and other things. The lore is really interesting. It's just a really fun manga to read. I can't wait for part 2. There's a lot of arcs I personally like in it because of that. The Control Devil arc is probably my favorite arc in the series. It's just really different and unique. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's the one where the assassins come from different countries. I really found the art to be very, intriguing the whole way through. There wasn't really a boring moment throughout it. And the Control Devil arc, I don't know, the way it's set up, its antagonist was great, and the way they send off certain characters and introduce others was really interesting. The ending to the series in general was definitely a interesting way to end part 1 off. I definitely could see why the author would make that choice. I mean, the series ended great and it also started really well. It's great. The story aspect in the series is really good. I don't know how to explain it. I personally give it like an 8 probably. But now that I've talked enough about the story, let me get on to the characters, which as usual is my favorite part. So the characters in Chainsaw Man, they're all really fun to see. You can get emotionally attached to them. Just when like the main 3 characters are together, it's very fun and just funny in general. They have really good chemistry, and the way that Denji, Aki, and Power all like act around each other, it's almost like they're a makeshift family kind of. And I'm pretty sure it's even like portrayed that way in the series, that they're like a whole family and all that. But as I'm in the actual like characters part, let me actually talk about the characters. Denji is a great protagonist. I want to say he fits the series perfectly, but he really does help drive the plot through. His whole relationship with Makima and everyone he meets is really great, and each time it's different. It's never like a copy and paste from another character or something like that. Especially the female characters, they all develop him in some way or form, and his growth from just wanting to live a normal life to actually becoming more human, you could say, and wanting more than that, like any other human would. I mean, it's a great vessel for his character and for him to grow even better and better as a person. The snowball fight later on in the series is honestly probably my top 10 fights. It's really emotional in the way it's portrayed while they're fighting. There's also a snowball fight. It's just really not fun. It's definitely not fun. It's very emotional, and it definitely gets you attached to the characters, and it really develops Denji's character. I don't really want to say, who it is with and all that, because that'd be spoilers, but anyone who's read the manga knows what I'm talking about. And the bang, you know, the one with the door that was basically foreshadowed from the start, is also, it's an interesting way to send off a character. I don't really, again, want to say what it is because I don't want to spoil. But yeah, the way Denji acts before and after is nice. It's very, like, there's a lot of tension in the scene, and it's not like in a logical moment, like, why would Denji do that? With the state of mind he's in, it makes perfect sense why he would do that. Just like any other decision he makes. I personally never found anything that Denji did to be out of character or just not make sense. Everything he does in this series has a reason behind it. If you think about like how he grew up and stuff like that. And that's something I really like with the characters in Chainsaw Man. They're all real realistic, and anything they do makes sense, and it's never like a dumb thing that just shouldn't have happened. And if it is something that they shouldn't have done, it makes sense why they did it. They're either in a bad state of mind or they just never really thought well. Like any decision Aki or Power or anyone in the series makes, it just makes perfect sense as why they would do it, which is something that not every series does. I know that may sound weird or odd, but I've definitely seen in a few series where a lot of the decisions a character makes just don't make sense within either the series or the character. It just doesn't match. But in Chainsaw Man, every character acts in character. It all just makes sense to me. There isn't really any illogical decisions made that just wouldn't make sense. But that's not me just trying to say the only thing Chainsaw Man does right in its characters is logical decisions. The personality between each character is great. They're all different. They never feel like cookie cutter character from any other series. They may like have the quiet older guy that's or something, but they're always like different in a lot of ways. They don't all have like this one different trope that defines their character like in other series. Every character has a completely different personality to the other, even if they don't show up that much. Even characters that like die within 5 chapters, they're completely different, unique characters that are really likable. For example, Power and Makima are the two main different characters, female characters in the series. And while any other like lesser writer would have them be like the same character with like the same tropes, Fujimoto makes them really different. Makima's like a deceptive, manipulative lover. Not lover, but like someone that Denji really likes, I'll just say that way. Whereas Power is basically just a child, like an adult child, and it's portrayed that way throughout the whole series too, as she'll like if she has a piece of veggie on her plate, she'll just throw it across the room or just give it to Denji. I really like that, because it makes the characters feel more alive, and they're all like the same type of person. Even the lesser characters feel like they have more personality than some, especially the female characters in other series. Like even Kobeni, who shows up like twice throughout the whole series, is still a memorable character. She has a completely different personality from any other character in the series, and she has her own moments. It's nice to see that she isn't just the same exact thing. And even then, aside from the female characters, there's a lot of other male characters in the show that are good too. Main example is Aki. At the beginning of the series, we just see him as like some guy who's higher than Denji on like the rankings, but then as the series goes on, we see him like more and more transformed to like a more big brother type of character to Denji, and this is like shines when he gets the opportunity to go and kill the Gun Devil, or not going to kill the Gun Devil, but go on a mission to do that. He makes a decision that he did when he sees Power with Denji together. By like he'd be leaving them alone for a while. He doesn't do that. He just has to stay with them. It's great, the way he transforms and fits perfectly into that big brother role that he plays perfectly. It's really not like out of nowhere. It slowly builds up until certain moments that really portray it out that way. Like some series, they'll have the character not really turn into that big brother form in any way, or it'll be way too sudden. It'll just happen from one chapter to the next. Chainsaw Man has it in a really good, like they pace it out really well, and it's like hinted at first, and then it's like hinted at even more, and then it becomes like really more apparent in some art that's drawn or just in the series in general. It's basically like told to you, or not, maybe not told, but it's like they're giving you a hint that's kind of like how that situation works. So like that whole, like those three are really good characters. I really like their dynamic. Makima's a great antagonist / side character. It's one of those situations where You can't really say she's one or the other, really. She's kind of like both, I guess, at the same time. Her like manipulative personality like offers great with Denji, and how like really he's like a child with how he thinks and all that. He's really just straightforward, and I really like that because I don't know, it's a good dynamic those two have. It's realistic with how Denji acts around her. The bang and the things that happen after it were great, and really at the end of the series, she really helped a lot with Denji's growth. She's basically his reasons for living for a lot of the series, and I'm interested to see what happens with the. I don't really know how to explain it without spoiling, but like the child thing at the end. But yeah, that's all I want to say for the characters. Now I'm gonna go on to the art, and then I'll talk about the themes in a bit, and somewhere around there I'll talk about something else too, probably. So yeah, to start with the art, the art is in Chainsaw Man is like really raw and gritty. It definitely feels like sketched out, kind of like Hunter x Hunter, but better, like actually good. Uh, it's I don't know how to explain it, but like it fits perfectly with the series, and a lot of the emotional moments or just hype moments in general are really improved with that art. You can't really say the art style is like that because Fujimoto can't draw better. It just really helps with the type of series Chainsaw Man is. How it's a really like raw and gritty series, which matches the art style perfectly. The covers in the series, like the volume covers, they're really good. I think they're different from other series, which are generally just like a character standing there. Maybe they'll do a pose or something. The covers in Chainsaw Man really, I think you can kind of, for certain ones, you can kind of tell what's going on the whole volume just by that, or sometimes even like some of the art that's at the start of the like volume cover, not like the actual volume cover, but a bit after that, also helps. Maybe not helps, but it like kind of gives you an image of what things will be. There's an example of that which I don't know if I'm gonna show, but it's with Aki, Denji, and Power, where they're all together and they look like kids, which kind of reminds me of like, them being a whole family together, which is honestly a really nice touch. It's not even necessary, but that definitely like makes it. I don't know how to feel. It definitely helps with their whole dynamic of being like a makeshift family. Now I'm going to talk about the themes. I know I didn't cover the art too much, but there really isn't much to cover when you talk about art, especially since my whole like editing style is showing you art. But yeah, as for the themes, Chainsaw Man has I kind of like a unique set of themes. I don't really want to talk about the themes, but the way they're portrayed is really well. It's a very heartfelt series, you know? You can get easily attached to the characters. I think Chainsaw Man's main theme would probably be like something around family or just living your life to the max. Because Denji, he really tries to live every day like it's his last, kind of. He also tries to treasure it, right? But like for his whole life before he met Makima and all that people, it was really just like, let's be honest, it was a horrible life. And when he gets that chance, he develops a family. He develops how normal it is, right? It really kind of helps you appreciate normal life more with the series. And as Denji is the protagonist, it really helps like express those themes even more than you normally could. And especially how like as like for part 2, he's gonna have to like take care of someone and all that. It's really gonna. I definitely want to see where Denji's character is gonna go. I know it's transitioned from themes back to Denji, but he's just a really great protagonist. And the way he's gonna take care of her, I really want to see how it turns out, considering he's like an adult child who has to take care of another child now, even though he didn't want to. But yeah, that's all I want to mention. Chainsaw Man is really a series filled with heart, and you can tell Fujimoto really loved this series as he was drawing it. Every scene, everything, it felt like thought out, and he really, I can tell he really enjoyed writing it. I really enjoyed reading it. I'd personally give this series an 8.5. I don't want to give it a 9. I don't know why. Just 8.5 feels right to me. To me, the start it wasn't my favorite. It took me a minute to actually start liking it, like around chapter 20 to 30. But after that, I just exponentially grew and I started liking it more and more. Now, I would definitely recommend the series, especially as part 2 should be coming out in like a year or two, and the anime is coming out I think later this year, hopefully. So it's a great time to start catching up so you can talk to the fan base, and which I tried to do, but I couldn't catch up in time. And also, I definitely also recommend it if you're like in a burnout or something. It's definitely, I said it before, I'll say it again. It's one of those series so unique and so fun and fast paced that could easily get you out of a burnout. And I can definitely see why it would be someone's favorite. Like after, like at first I couldn't really understand it. I read it and I waited, like I thought about it. It's definitely something you don't really see every day. There isn't a series like it. So I really recommend this series. Really hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought down below. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And peace.